it might not be easy for you to understand how the elites can link all your data. And then when I tell you that, okay, you're gonna go to the supermarket and they will be able to control how much steak or how much meat you buy, right? The quantity of meat or steak you buy. It sounds, for many, it sounds totally insane. It sounds impossible. But let me explain you how it's done. So I spent more than 20 years in information and technology. So I work on IT systems across the world, and I have a good understanding of how this is done actually. So let's use image, and I want to make it as simple as possible for you to understand it, because the only problem for you mostly is understanding, because you don't understand it, you don't believe it. So this is you, right? Okay. And so when you go to the supermarket, you either use your phone to pay, so your phone is linked to your credit card, or you use a credit card, or you simply use cash. Let's take the traditional example of using cash. This is a note of 50 euro, for instance, right? So we go to, let's bring our supermarket in. Our supermarket is here, right? Let's say our supermarket is just a few minutes away from home. We go there to the supermarket with our cash, right? We buy a few things in the supermarket. We buy water, we buy some meat, we buy some vegetable, and then we go to the cashier, right? At the cashier, we give the 50 euros, no matter to the cashier, to a lady, to someone, or to a machine. Then the machine take the 50 euro, give you back the cash, you go back with your stuff. What is important here is what has happened. So the supermarket has computer behind, right? So I just make this simple drawing of a computer. I'm not even talking about servers or complex things. Just imagine it's a computer, right? So the POS, the point of sale, which is the machine you give the money to, or the cashier type the stuff in, right, is communicating with the computer behind. And so the recording in this machine is important. So this machine is recording that someone bought those items, right? So the water, the steak, the vegetable, gave 50 euro, give back the change. But right now, it's not, we don't know. This thing here doesn't know it's you. It's John Doe or whoever. It doesn't have your name. It doesn't have your age. It doesn't have any health data. It knows nothing about you, right? Now let's imagine you had a loyalty card. If you go to the cashier, you scan your loyalty card, and this loyalty card is registered under your name. Let's imagine when you fill the form at the cashier, you give your name, you give your email address. Then as you scan your loyalty card, or the cashier scan your loyalty card, the information will go into this computer here, meaning that we know that, for instance, Isabel has been buying meat, vegetable, and water, and she used a note of 50 euro, for instance, or she paid by card, and so the computer know who is this, when the purchase was made, where, because it's in this supermarket, and what was purchased, okay? So in that case, the computer know. But the information stay here, right? Or in my go, let's imagine that this supermarket is part of a chain of a network of supermarket. So there might be another computer here, which is different from this one, that actually collect the data from this computer and then reconcile, gather all the data for all the computer across the country, for instance, right? Centralization of data in this computer. You understand? The data from the POS go to the computer, and then potentially it could be centralized here, okay? But then there's no link with other things, right? There's no link with the bank or other things, right now. Let's keep the thing simple. And so this is the traditional stuff. And so you understand in this example, unless you use a loyalty card, they usually don't know who you are, what you buy, and where you buy it. And your civil servant, it doesn't need to know that, right? It's your own business what you buy. You buy the things you want, where you want, with what you want, right? But now let's talk about the next system. In the next system, this will not exist anymore, right? So let me just draw. Give me 1 second. Let me just draw a mobile phone, right? So when they remove, so your money right now is in a bank, right? Most of people's money is in a bank, right? So when they say like, okay, we introduce central bank digital currency, either they create a catastrophe, an event, so that it enables them to do so, or they tell you, okay, please adopt digital currency, or they just mandate it, as they often do right now. So your note of 50 euro doesn't exist anymore, as you actually, well, they can create a program to call back all the money, right? Say, okay, need to give this back to the bank because it will not be valid anymore. And so all the money here, so on your account you've got, for instance, 3,000 euro, right? So it will be the same. You still have 3,000 euro, except that there's no way to get those 3,000 euro as paper money anymore, right? So this stuff that we did before, we can't do this anymore. And this is the critical difference, right? So you go to the supermarket. So this is linked to that, right? When you already pay by credit card at the POS here or with your phone, then what's happening? There's actually a record created here directly, right? Go to the supermarket, we buy our stuff, the meat, the vegetable, the water, we go to the POS, we use our phone with our digital euros, right? And so the information, so let's imagine it's a bill of 45 euros. You be taken 45 euros from your account. It doesn't happen directly right now, basically. It's first they write it, and then it actually happens usually at the end of the day. But don't care for now. I'll just tell you it happened directly, automatically, right? So 55 euros. And then there's a record creating here where now we know that because you're supposed to have a digital ID, right? So we can link the digital ID. So this is you basically, right? Which is linked to your app, an application that enable you to use CBDCs, right? So a bit like the bank application that you may have already on your phone. You go to the POS and then there's a transaction in the computer, right? So this time the computer know who, what did you buy, where did you buy it, when did you buy it. He has all the information. He knows it's you, right? It's in this computer. But now what the elites don't really tell you and what's happening in the background is that there's a lot of companies that gather together. So folks like Bill Gates, who used to build Microsoft, are putting in place projects like ID 2020 that aim at connecting the data between different organizations. So let's say, for instance, here it's your health data, right? So right now you may have a mobile app that contains your health data. It's in your mobile, but at the end of the day, your data is centralized here in the organization that manage your health stuff, right? It can be, I don't know, private company in France, in UK, the IHS in UK, for instance, company in US. So they have your data, right? There is the bank here, so your bank has your data, right? There's the supermarket here. There is, for instance, the network of gas station, for instance. What else? Well, there is the insurance that you have for the house, right? And so this project in the background, the goal is actually to create one single view of all those data, connect everything, so that this be connected to that, be connected to this, be connected to this, be connected to that, be connected to this, this. But so what do they do? And of course, your phone connect to the stuff as you use those services, you directly connect it, okay? This is this. And so this stuff is actually really the core of their system, right? So there you've got a unique ID, but right now, here, you've got different ID, right? So let's imagine that for your bank, your ID, your customer ID being something like this. For, we say health insurance here. Okay, so health, your ID be something like that. FJ, here your ID for your insurance be 3B9972. They are as well different, right? So you see, right, they've got different ID, so that it's right now impossible to reconcile all those data, meaning that because this is what matters to your government, right, to basically the elites who actually work for the government work for the elites, is that this guy, so basically the elites want in their computer here to have only one single ID. They want, for instance, to take this one here, and they know all the information, for everything. And now they can't have this. And so that's the reason why they go into initiative like ID 2020, ID, okay, ID, identification, that aim at reconciliating, at making sure there's one single ID and all this is connected, right? At the end of the day, they will not really do it like this. What they want to do is that, let's imagine you've got a central really big computer, and then all those services here communicate to this one, right? Either directly in live or indirectly. I suspect that it needs to be done directly because they want to implement rules directly in real time, so that this computer has your unique ID, let's say 3B9972, okay, and then it knows it's you. It knows it's you, and this computer knows everything about you. You go to here, you scan your ID, so your phone at the POS, it goes directly to here, and then this computer, it know where you are. It knows your health data. It knows your insurance. It knows how much you've got in the bank in terms of CBDCs. It knows when you refuel for the last time. It knows everything about your life, basically. Imagine you can actually link this to directly also services like Facebook. It knows if you're married. It knows how many stuff you've been posting online the last week. This is an insane view on your life. But how does it happen? It happens through those projects like this, ID 2020. So this stuff involves different companies, bank, Dutch bank, services, Facebook, Microsoft, stuff like that. So when say Microsoft, for instance, it's no surprise that Microsoft is actually leading stuff like this, because they're already working for those corporation and organization. How many banks rely on Microsoft services, right? Or Microsoft technologies? A lot. So it's actually not that difficult to go to the bank and say, from now on, you are going to connect your data to our central machine, central computer, and send us everything, because this is what we want, right? And as this computer has access to everything, so imagine you are the elites, right? The government's working for the elite. You can implement new laws very easily, right? So from now on, anyone located in France can only use 25 liters of gas per week. How do they do that? You just put a rule in the computer here. So they know that for all this network, for all those branch, because everything is in the computer, the people going to the branch scan their phone here, okay? Then they know this computer. So let me explain you how it works out, because it's very important. You arrive here, the gas station, you scan your phone. Let's imagine for now you scan your phone, right? It's not able to recognize your plate number yet, but in the future it will. You scan your phone, then at the screen tell you, so scan your phone. The information goes to the big computer here, okay? This computer knows the entitlement, the rights, right? All the rules. Send back the rules to this computer, the screen. For this week, you can only consume 25 liters of gas. And so the machine here is basically has this instruction. There's no way you can remove. You know, when you just go to the gas station, for instance, you go to the cashier, you say, I want 30 euros of gas, right? So the lady types 30 euros in the system. This doesn't exist anymore. It's based on entitlement. This is defined directly through this computer here, right? So the machine cannot change. You cannot change the machine. No one can change the machine. The same thing for the POS here. If the supercomputer here said the machine, sorry, it's 500 grams of steak, then the cashier cannot do anything. It cannot change the machine. You need to understand that. They are actually the key point here. It's to remove humans, right? Because you used to be able to tell to your bank manager or your insurance lady or whatsoever, I want this, and then usually you can negotiate. In this new system, there's no place for negotiation anymore. It's done. It's over. So what you can do is just go back home, and that's it, right? You go back home. You didn't get what you want, and that's it. And there's no one to complain to. That's the reason why what's happening in the UK with the ULEZ, right? Ultra low emission zones, right? Same thing. It's machine. There's no one to complain to. So what are the people doing, right? They break the machine because they understand, right? They know that the machine is responsible for it. And so, but the problem here is that what I'm bringing you is the most valuable stuff, is that you understand how the machine is working. You know that it's the key point is here. It's that instance, that supercomputer that control all the rules. And they can make it in a smart way where this is decentralized, right? The rules are across multiple computers that communicate with each other, right? So there's no central point of failure. So I hope this is useful. Feel free to ask questions, reach out to me. It's super important you understand that. I try to explain it in a very simple manner. Of course, behind it's extremely complicated, right? You've got things like server, database, distributed system. We can even use the blockchain for potentially some of the things here, no problem. But I try to keep it simple for you to understand that it's an infrastructure of control. This is what it is. It's not for your own good. It's not for your safety. It's not for your health. It's not for you. It's for this guy that just seek pure control over your life. And once you are inside the system, it's very hard to get out. It's very hard to get out. How do you do it, right? If the only place where you can procure your food is the supermarket, was like, and this stuff doesn't exist anymore. So how you want to transact with someone of the system, right? Need to go back to bartering? Oh yeah, good luck with that, right? It would be hard. I hope this is useful. Thank you.